What up, good people? What's going on? How's everybody doing? What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Looks like we are having some challenges, at least a little bit. At least it looks like it on our end with us going live. But now here's the crazy thing. I can see us on the phone. Yeah, it looks like we're fine on the phone. Can you guys hear us, Mike? Thumbs up if y'all can hear us.
Yep.
Okay, we may have to go with the.
Dang, there's just a slight delay.
Okay, awesome. Craig, what's going on, brother? Thanks for jumping in. Craig, do me a favor, buddy. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see us fine, because we are both separately on the road. I love it. And we're having some public Wi-Fi issues in connecting. So I just want to make sure. Okay, awesome. So we're just going to ignore the fact that we can't see and hear you guys by way of the cell phone and by way of our computer. So good morning, babe.
Good morning.
Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses.
Welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks. And who are you?
I am Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. We're trying to get our life all the way together here, guys. Cherie and I are super excited. We are on the road. We're on a staycation, us personally. I don't know what Mike and Alycia are doing, but I'm kind of excited to be able to just touch bases with some great friends of ours. Before we get rolling, for those people who don't know us, babe, I just want to let everyone know that, you know, when we started MAPS, our Marriages and Parenting Successfully Relationship Academy, one of the biggest things that we did was we knew that people would be in trouble in their relationships if they could not find communities that could help them grow. And I think that over our first, for us, we've been married for 19 years in a row, but we were both married before. And that was the biggest challenge in our marriage, is that there was no one around us to help nurture us and in real time and be able to get us to the next level. So we created MAPS. And so for guys, if you want community, if you need community, if you're in relationship, whether you're a couple, whether you're married, perhaps you're a parent, we want to encourage you to go over to thecrcoach.com, www.thecrcoach.com, and do us a favor and literally sign up. We have a 30-minute free coaching opportunity where we just basically assess you and we figure out, where you are in your relationship, what you're doing, what's going on with you. And I think that at that particular point, we can assess if we're even a fit.
Right.
So I think that I'm excited about that. I don't know if you introduced yourself. I just kept talking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hi, guys.
Guys, we're a little bit out of our sort. As you can see, we're in a hotel. We're on the road. We had a late night. It was a staycation kind of a night. And I still haven't let my wife introduce herself. I need more coffee. Go ahead, babe.
Good morning, guys. I'm Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach. And it is great to be with you guys this morning. As Glenn shared with you, we developed the Marriages and Parenting Successfully Relationship Academy actually about 1.5 years ago. And that's a very intimate room where people get to come in and we deal with real life issues, with marital issues, parenting issues, for those that are married, those that are thinking about getting married, and anybody that's a parent, whether you're in a blended family, you're attempting to co-parent, whether you're a single parent. We try to help you with some tools to be able to help you to have successful relationships. We also do go around the country and do workshops.
Yep.
We do one-on-one coaching as well.
Yep.
And recently we just launched a
masterclass. Yep.
For individuals that want to do what we're doing.
Yep.
To be able to show them how we've been able to, organize our business, get it to where it is, so that they can learn how to monetize their gift of being able to help other people.
Absolutely. So right now, guys, we have on the line some great friends of ours. In today's show, we're trying something kind of bold. We both are on the road. They are in the southern portion of the country somewhere, and we're still here in Virginia. But we decided this weekend. It was already planned that we was just going to do a staycation because you was feeling like we needed to get away. We just needed to get out of our environment. And technically we are off, but except we're never off from Breakfast with the Brookses. We committed a long time ago that we're going to commit to this platform even when we're on vacation. I think we launched it on our anniversary.
Right. So this is our gift to you.
So this is our gift to you, is that even while we are on a staycation, we're going to come to you. But today, babe, we've got our great friends, Mike and Alycia Johnson. They are a phenomenal couple, guys. And they're doing some fantastic things. We're going to be working on some things together in the very near future. And I'm just super excited about that. But let's try and work through these technical things real quick and introduce and bring them on. Mike, Alycia, are you guys there? Can you guys hear us?
We can, Glenn. Can you hear us?
No. Gotta turn this on. We're talking through the phone now. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm talking through the phone now because I can't hear you guys through the computer.
Okay. Can they hear us through? Can your audience hear us?
I don't know if they can hear you.
Yeah,
I don't. They can hear you.
Can y'all?
No, because you can hear it on there.
I can hear it here.
So then they can hear you.
Can they hear? Y'all can hear me through the computer, yes?
They don't know.
We can.
Okay, we can't hear you through the computer, so we're gonna have to keep our phone up. If you guys can just do us a huge favor and turn your.
Hopefully their video will catch up.
Yeah, turn one of them down so we don't feedback. But I just wanted to make sure that we could hear y'all when y'all answer the questions. Okay.
Okay. All right. We turned one down.
Okay. Awesome. How y'all feeling?
Sleepy.
This is kind of weird. I'm sorry.
This is the nature of live.
Yep. Welcome to the wonderful world of live. Y'all good over there, Mike?
We're doing great, brother. We're in Atlanta this morning.
Y'all in the ATL?
We're in the ATL.
Okay, awesome. Let me ask you a question, Mike. You ain't down there running a Spartan race this weekend, are you, buddy?
No.
Awesome. Awesome, because we didn't want to have to send the ambulance to come get you because you old and you refuse to believe that.
Right. Alycia was just telling me. She was just telling me that.
Right.
No.
Right. It's like, look, old man, slow down. Look,
right.
Let me tell y'all something so that you guys know. Mike and Alycia, we've been rocking for real hard for the last year. You ever meet people that you feel like you've known them all your life? And we were just doing the math. We've not known each other personally very long. We were in the same group. We were in a business coaching group together. Shout out to Grandation, our coach Kendall Ficklin. And when we met these two, we just were kindred spirits, and we kind of connected right off the break. And they're doing some amazing things. Mike, Alycia, talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you guys are up to. I want to kind of get into your story a little bit as a backdrop because you did a video, guys, last week that kind of caught my attention, and I said, oh, we need to get them on and we need to talk about what that process is and some things that you go into. So real quick, give everybody some background, who you guys are, how long you've been married. You guys just celebrated an anniversary. Thank you, Jesus, because it got tumultuous to say the least for you guys throughout the years, as all of us go through stuff. Y'all are not the only ones, but not everybody makes it through. Right. And that's, I think, significant. And unfortunately, most people don't, and they don't have a blueprint on how that even looks.
Right. So, Glenn, can you hear us clearly?
Yes.
I can hear you okay. I can just hear you through our phone, so I can't hear you in my headsets and that sort of stuff. You can hear me this way, but I can only hear you through my phone.
Okay, great. So, we, like you just said, we just celebrated our 22nd wedding anniversary, and also, like you said, it's been a very, very long road. It's been a long journey, and the video that you were referring to last week, it was just a quote that I had found a couple weeks ago, and when I read the quote, very simple, by Jack Cornfield, just saying that there's only three things in life that really matter in the end. and the first is how well did you live? How well did you love? And how well did you let go? And as I read that, it just really kind of echoed back to me everything that we've experienced in this marriage, and just the road that we've been through to get here. More importantly, in those three areas, I think for us, we've had to touch each one of those to get to this point. You know, there's been some work that we've done to really kind of work through this. And and Alycia, you tell me if I'm wrong. As I read through it, it's like we've had to get to a point where we just started to kind of live again and understanding, why we're here, what the purpose of us being here for, and then the love part. We had to love each other again. I've said it many times before. I got to the point in our marriage where I just realized that I had said I do, 20 years ago, and I got to the point in our marriage where I had totally forgot about that. So I had to kind of go back to that time to just remind myself that, bro, look, you said you do. And regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's showing up in your life, you have to commit to that. You have to recommit to what you said 22 years ago.
It's funny that you say that, Mike, because I think that is something, and Cherie, we've done it before, and we've dissolved marriages, and we have, stepped away circumstantially. There were reasons, but so many people find it easy to step away and easier. I'm going to say that because I don't think divorce is ever easy. I don't care what the circumstances are. It's never. Rarely are you having people just kind of just say, that they can just wash their hands of you. That's a soul tie. That's real. You're really knit together in a way that becomes very painful to separate that. I don't care. Even if you both want to do it,
right.
It's a painful process, but many people find it easier to say, I don't, than they do, I do.
Right. To manage or maintain that commitment, it takes work.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people aren't willing to do that work. And if one party is not willing, then it's very hard for you to do that because you both have to be willing to do the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Alycia, when we start talking about doing the work, and I'm going to put it up here so that everybody can understand, the quote came from Jack Cornfield. And Mike, I had it pulled up, but in all of our technical woes, I lost it. But here's the thing that I do. And I may have it rewritten wrong. And for those of you all who are viewing, give us a thumbs up. Good to see you, Danae. Good to see you, Sidna. Thanks for jumping in the room. Joseph, thanks for jumping in the room. Karen, y'all do me a favor. Share. Letitia, good to see you. Tell your husband I said what's up. Super excited about some things we got coming up with Grace River Church over in Virginia Beach. Shout out to them. Great people. I'm just excited about all of what's going on, guys. And I'm popping up in the room right now. 3 things that matter. I've just sort of boiled it down. And if you're just jumping on, we're talking to Mike and Alycia Johnson. They have been married 22 years. They have been faced in more challenges than not to say I don't. And they decided they chose to stay and say I still do. And that's not normal. I can't say that that's our story. We have with each other. But Cherie and I, it's no secret, have a past that says, Cherie said, I don't twice. And I said, I don't anymore one time after 12 years. And that's always a painful process. And it's kind of ironic that, we are such proponents of marriage having lost. And I think that also is a strength in this arena because we know what that pain looks like and we don't ever want to go back there again. So that becomes a lot of why we can fight through what we fight through. But Alycia, if you could talk to me just a little bit, when Mike posed this thought process of the 3 things that matter, and Jack Cornfield said it similar this way, it really boils down to how well have you loved? How well have you lived? How well have you loved? And how well have you learned to let things go? take us through that little bit of a process, because you guys do this in a video that y'all drop, where I just think it's fire. If you guys need to follow them, just jump over to Facebook and just type in, Alycia Johnson or Mike Cullen Johnson, and you'll pull them up. But I just want you to talk us through that process a little bit, Alycia, because that was painful for you guys, and we've talked to y'all on live before. But bring people up to speed as to how you guys kind of began navigating through that.
As far as navigating, through the pain and the past hurts, we took divorce off the table. We literally had to, because that was the go-to card. Like, I'm out of here. I don't have to be here for this. I can. So once we made a conscious decision to take the divorce card off the table, it forced us to face each other and to face, what we were attempting to accomplish. And so that's the one thing that, we share with people also. We don't, the whole abuse thing and all of that, we don't do that. So if there's something that is going on, get away, love them from a distance. But our stuff was just stuff that we were creating through our personal and collective dysfunction. And so we decided to squarely face what we were dealing with and just hash it out,
Yeah.
and we realized that we individually and collectively had more potential than we were displaying. And once we put our big girl and big boy clothes on, and we
panties and drawers. That's the word, Alycia. You can say it.
You can say it.
Okay, we can put our big girl panties and drawers on.
I love it.
And so we decided to fight it out, and to and it got ugly in the sense that we had to face a lot of the things about ourselves that we didn't even want to face individually. The envy, the jealousy, the hardcore things that just you just kind of gloss over them. And that's what we had to do. Just every time something, and it was funny because even with the videos, that we're doing, like, stuff will crop up now. It's like, nah, we just broke up. I'm done. I ain't ready for this. This is funny. Like, something will trigger something like, oh, I thought I was done, or he'll say something that.
Right.
Well, know that I've been praying for you guys, because I told Glenn when y'all first started doing the videos, I was like, I got to keep them lifted because this is getting rough.
Yeah,
They're
no doubt.
Up stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so we're revisiting some stuff that we haven't really talked about in a while. And it's like, ooh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that road trip down here was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, look, guys, just so that y'all know, y'all got carte blanche to call us anytime, day or night.
Right.
If y'all need to talk and y'all need to work, y'all need an intervention. Work through that.
Right.
It would be our pleasure to help coach y'all through it, because I promise you this. One of the things, and we laugh a little bit, babe, but when you are dealing with people, and Alycia and Mike, you guys know this because y'all are coaches as well. Mm-hmm. When you coach other people, oftentimes what you're helping them with can boomerang back,
right,
and begin to affect you. And I think that you have to be really, really careful, as you're sharing your stories, and this is something that we're going to actually teach people in our masterclass, is how do you show up in your space, deliver what it is that you're supposed to bring to the table, but not allow their issues to cloud your situation and cause you to now go back or revert to some stuff that you let go a long time ago. And I think that that's a real thing. Mike, when we talk about how well have you lived, how well have you loved, how well have you learned to let go, and those are the three things that I do think that matter, it caused me to reflect, and it caused me to say, you know what, they're saying this on the back nine of the 22.
Right.
So if they're, if you guys have gone 22 years, it's only been recently have you guys kind of looked at that and begin to sort of, and I'm going to put it this way, I don't want to put words in you all's mouth, but I do want to talk about this process a little bit. You guys have been able to sort of restate or recharge your situation by rewriting your narrative.
Right.
And I think that unfortunately a lot of people get stuck in this idea that the script is what the script is, and I just have to follow the script. And I don't think that they understand the value in literally rewriting your script, rewriting your narrative. And you said something earlier, Alycia, and Mike, you guys, I'd like y'all to chime in on this, but you said divorce card had to come off the table. But the other thing that you were willing to do is recognize that it wasn't you guys that were having the issues. It was the dysfunctional behavior that you could physically change, that could, if you could get that out the room, y'all could potentially make it. Could y'all speak to that through this prism of, now rewriting your script or rewriting your narrative?
So I think for me, Glenn, the first thing Alycia she had a huge part in this, and she'll share that. But for me, it was really understanding that I had some issues, and I had some issues from childhood that kind of came into this marriage thing and commingled with what we were building as a couple, and just completely destroyed it. And of course, that's the issue, with my dad, not knowing my dad. All of the stuff that kind of, followed me as a child came into marriage. And, I think I was probably in my late 30s, early 40s when it kind of blew up on me. But I think at that point I had to really understand that I had to do some deep work. I had to do some deep digging, understanding exactly what those issues were, facing them head on, and just being honest with myself, and that I've had it wrong for the last 20 plus years. So for me, that's kind of where it started. Definitely jump in, but we, as you said, we've had the affair situation on the table. We've had the problems with the kids, and of course we've had them all together. And I think at the end of the day, when you look at our situation, you can see that throughout all of this stuff that we were dealing with, for me it was ego. I had a lot of ego going on, a lot of things that were just standing there and tripping us up at every turn. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he had a big ego. It was all his fault.
Get him, Alycia.
No, that's the thing. We both had to realize the roles that we were playing in the relationship. And so I think that for me, I had my come to Jesus moment a little bit before he did. And so that's the thing that you have to understand. One person has to be willing to take it for the team. So if you wake up before the other person does, then you just got to stick it out and wait till they pray that they wake up too. And so
Alycia, I gotta interject. Can you hit the rewind button real quick and say that again? When one person wakes up, you got to be willing to take that one for the team, because you're the woke one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you go back and can you unpack that just a little bit for us, please?
Right. So when I woke up, if you will, and it was just very interesting because I could actually see his pain. I could see that he was hurting just like I was hurting. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can actually, it feels differently. It feels more compassion than anger. And so that was the thing when I started to see that and realize that he wasn't necessarily lashing out at me. It was a lot of other stuff going on, because I was like, Alycia Johnson is not that big, and for this dude to be this angry about me, I couldn't let
something else is in the room.
Yeah, I couldn't let my ego get that big. Like, oh my gosh, he's just tripping because I'm all of that, and it wasn't all of that for real. It wasn't. It's like, okay, I don't rank that high in all of this. And so once you start to realize that, that's when everything took a turn. And when you were talking about writing your script, that was the one thing, because I journal. And so I took to my journal and I literally wrote a day in our new life. I wrote what a day. And if anybody had read it at that time and knew our story, they'd be like, she needs to be committed somewhere, because ain't none of this stuff.
Let's get the white jacket.
None of this. And so, and that was the thing. So I wrote it down, and I just kept reading it and rereading it and reading it and rereading it. And so today we laugh because when I read it and we look at where we are, it's really coming to fruition. And
Amen.
so don't be afraid to edit it though, because there's some parts in there where I put in there, Mike and I, we spend the whole day together. And now that we're spending the whole day together, I was like, oh, we got to edit this. We spend like 5 hours together. And then
Oh, I
we
love
like
it.
together all the time.
I love it.
Right.
Don't be afraid to re-edit. You can edit, re-edit. It's your story. You write it in and out as you want.
Yes.
Absolutely. Cherie is crazy because they talk about rewriting scripts, and we're talking about sort of restating your narrative or creating a new narrative. And I think that one of the things that you and I always say is that coming into our relationship, it'll be 20 years in January. We had some major issues that we were overcoming. We were actually in the flow of overcoming our individual personal demons and baggage and issues and things like that when we met. So when we got together, I don't think we knew what we were doing, but we literally were writing a script based upon the reference of what it looks like when it goes wrong.
Right. I think we kind of had a cheat sheet because we had both messed up relationships in the past so horribly. We knew what not to do. And so just as we were moving into our relationship, it was like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. Just line that out. That's not going to be a part of the story. This isn't going to be a part of the story. So we knew there were certain components that we were able to remove, take off the table from the beginning.
Right.
And that made things flow a lot easier. We still, we went through our challenges. Just whenever you bring two people together from different backgrounds, two entirely different people, you're going to have some challenges.
100%.
Just melding together. But a lot of the major stuff we didn't go through because we had done it before and we knew it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so we knew that, we just weren't going to bring that into our relationship. And there were thoughts and times that we thought about stuff, but one of the key things for us was that we talked about everything.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, and I'm always blessed how Mike and Alycia and you and I, we even met was through Grindation. Our business coach, our mutual business coach, Kendall Ficklin, says this thing all the time, and it's been resonating with me lately. And that is the power of understanding that when you discover what works, when you discover what's working, and this is a challenge for you guys. If you're going through it right now, you have to look at what's working. And in the mid of 100 things that's going wrong, I want you to look for the one or the two or the three things, because it could be that little, that are actually work. It works when we do this, or it works when we do that, or when we are in this kind of space, that works. And this is something that Kendall says regularly. He says, water what works. Right. And it really is just that simple. And I think Alycia and Mike, one of the things I love about y'all's story is that, and we're going to talk probably at a later broadcast when we get a better signal. We're working on some things together. I know we're going to do several collaborations, you guys and us, just because y'all's space, it's a little different, but we have so many overlaps and so many similarities. We thought it a crime that we not come together and execute on some things that we all can bring together and bring to fruition. But this idea of writing it down, this idea of taking it out of your head, first of all, getting it out of your head, out of your heart, and onto paper so that you can physically see it, that is huge, and it is absolutely powerful. Alycia, you have an organization called Always Journal, and you've been doing this for years. Talk to us a little bit about the catharticism and the regiment of that, and how that played a significant part into your life, and to now how you're able to navigate as a result of that.
Well, the way that we journal in our community, because I've journaled every way imaginable. I have vented, I have rehashed the past, and I have plenty of journals, plenty of journals dedicated to all of the pain and all of that. And so when you reread those, I started to realize, that was just my part of the story. I'm not giving my journal to Mike saying, here, now you write down your version so that we have a fair assessment of what's going on.
Right,
So I
right.
found that type of journaling was not working for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so after all of that journaling, after all of the rehashing the past and all of the altar calls and I was doing an altar call like every time the doors were open, I was at the altar. Like,
Right. Look,
speak
please.
these.
Look, this one, it was so bad. This one was literally on the floor crying. And I'm sitting up here saying we were just dating and she was at the because of my issues and what I just would not just own. She's like, oh, Lord, he's the devil. Oh, my God. I mean, and the people in the church, this is real literal. They were like, what is wrong with this dude? Because there were a few people that knew what was going on. It was like, he won't change. So I get it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to regress. No. You see what happens, y'all, when you write stuff down, you start remembering stuff and you start figuring out, Lord Jesus, what we going to do? Alycia, please continue. I apologize.
Okay, and so anyway, with the journaling work that we do now, it's all about learning how to speak things that are not as if they were. And so that was the journal that I started in 2009 for our marriage was to this date the most powerful journal that I have ever penned, and that was because I was speaking everything. I only wrote the things that I heard God say. I only put down the things that were in the future, the things that that I could see, despite the natural. And so that was the one thing that helped for me to see the writing process differently, and the power of the pen and the power of creating. We are co-creating our futures, if you will, co-creating our lives with heaven. And that's the key, is to get into alignment with heaven and see what heaven has for you, and to start to write down. Like, God was like, okay, this is what you see in the natural. Everything that's here in the natural is already here, and it's already come to do what it's supposed to do. So that's one of the things you have to realize, that whatever is already in motion, it has an assignment and it has to play out the way it has come in. However, after that plays out, you have the opportunity to replace it with that fresh manna from heaven. And that's what that journal was about. That was the fresh manna. But all of the junk in the natural had to play out. And that's that waiting period that people don't want to realize, that how a thing begins is how it's going to continue and how it's going to end. So you've got to let that thing run full circle so that it can close properly, so that when you introduce the new aspects of the relationship, it has staying power. And so that's what that journaling work was about.
Right. And I think that's powerful, Alycia. What you said is that oftentimes what happens is people, they'll start investing, they'll start changing, and they want to see a result immediately. It's like, you gotta wait. There's a process. It's secular. It's gonna come around, but you gotta wait. It's not because now I'm being nice today, now the relationship should just change tomorrow. It's going to take time. You got residue. It takes time. It takes consistency. It takes patience. But if you, like you said, if you put it before God, if you're praying about it, and you just continue sowing, you continue sowing good seeds, you will reap a harvest eventually.
The thing I want to interject really quickly, and Mike, you may have something to say about this as well, but I think that people don't understand that process by its nature has to run its course. By nature, when you start talking about process of any kind, there's a course or a timeline for every process. I'll put it that way. If it's baking, if it's making food, if it's losing weight, if it's your finances, if it's losing weight, Mike is my nutrition coach, guys, and so he understands. If it's losing weight, it's like like there is a process, and what I have to continually remind myself is, Glenn Brooks, listen, bruh, your process is not done yet. So stop being frustrated with the process. And this is where, when you embrace that process, and I often tell my coach, and Mike, you can tell him that this is the truth. I don't know if I'll ever fall in love with the process, but what I can fall in love with, listen to me carefully, guys, is what the process will produce. And I think that when you start talking about seeds and planting and reaping and all, the process of planting produces a harvest.
Right.
And unfortunately, you do not get to rush that process. And if you guys would understand that in your relationships, I promise you it would change the game. Mike, am I right?
You're exactly right, Glenn. And I think even further, a lot of times people may have all of the pieces, but they try to skip parts and pieces. And I think for me, and Alycia as well, for a long time, we knew what we needed to do, but we were just going straight to step 3 and forgetting about step 1 and step 2. And I think if you do that in any process, you're bypassing the laying of the foundation. And if you don't have that foundation, and we both know what it looks like to try to build a house, or can imagine what it looks like to try to build a house on top of something that's not settled.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, whether it's weight loss, whether it's building a relationship, finding a job, there's certain things that you have to do. And in most times they're like very simple. They're very simple things, but they're so simple that it's so easy to, let me say, I forgot who said it, but they say it's so easy to do that it's so easy not to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I may have said that wrong, but it's like,
no, it's,
right.
Yeah.
In many cases, it's like, because we forget to do that one daily thing,
Absolutely,
prayer, meditation, journaling, you forget to do that, and you're just moving on to step 3. It's like at some point you have to come around and fix that.
And Glenn, if I can free some people real good,
please.
The one thing, this is what I tell my clients all the time, because everybody wants to know, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take? My rule of thumb is give God equal time. If you were acting a fool for 10 years, then give God 10 years.
Wow.
It won't take that long because God will redeem the time if you do the work. But if you're going to take the same pace and the same route that you took to get there, give heaven equal time.
Right.
And that sobers people up real quick. Like, oh, I want to get all of this right real quick.
Right. It ain't gonna happen overnight.
Alycia, Mike, y'all remember last year we were in Maryland, and you guys lived not too far from where we used to live when we lived in Maryland. And we said, y'all, let's get together. Let's go to breakfast. And we went to this spot. If anybody knows First Watch in Bowie, like it is a bomb restaurant. We ought to get them to sponsor Breakfast with the Brookses. They're popping up all over the country. I'm gonna write that down for real. I'm gonna go after them.
Write the vision down, Glenn.
You think I'm? Hey, they think I'm playing, Alycia. They think I'm joking, right? When y'all seeing us broadcasting live from First Watches in our own little section of the thing, your boy is casting vision right now. I'm not playing with y'all. So we went to the restaurant. It's a true story. Y'all got there, we got there. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first time that you guys physically met Cherie, like in person.
Yeah.
And so we were all excited. We went into the building, and we said, and if you have to understand, the First Watch in Bowie is tiny in terms of the layout. We go in, and there has to be, I don't know, a 45-minute, maybe an hour wait. And we all sat and we agreed that we didn't want to wait in that queue for the process of us sitting and enjoying that. And they got organic food that's off the chain. I'm getting hungry even thinking about it. The truth of the matter is, I know that's not a good thing, not for me. I should not be thinking about food right now. The truth of the matter is we didn't want to wait through that process. So what we did is we skipped the process, and I'm not going to say where we went, but we went for a little bit lesser of a meal, but we got our time because we didn't want to go through the process. Why am I saying all that? We decided up front that we didn't want to wait to the process of getting the best.
Right.
Because that was going to cost us time. And in that particular case, we were trying to get back on the road, back down to Virginia Beach. So we didn't have the time to exchange for that wait. But here's what I love about what you said, Alycia, and that is this. If it took you 10 years to get this thing all jacked up, then give God 10 years. And here's what most of us know about restaurants. They tell you 45.
It ain't 45.
Very rarely does it take all that time.
Right.
Rarely. When you think about it, we wasn't thinking about that then.
Right.
We was like 45. Oh my God. So, but Alycia, tell me, I'm telling the truth. Rarely does it take the entire time. So had we stayed, we would have been able to enjoy the better food for the time that we did. Am I making sense here, guys?
No, I think you hit it right on the head, Glenn. I think, we look at the time, not really understanding that it's not really time, it's alignment. Once you get into alignment with whatever the thing is, things will proceed. And I think we're so used to looking at the time and saying, "Oh no, I don't have time," and we have that turn back mentality. We're not going to worry about that, and we just go to do something else. And it's like, no, put 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes into that daily, and that's the thing that you need to do. And once you keep pecking on it, you keep doing it like you're doing, Glenn. I mean, with the nutrition and the exercise and walking, you do that stuff over time. I'm not sure what the where you're at with the weight loss at this point, but I think it was 15 pounds.
It was down 15. I'm that next 15 is stubborn, brother. It don't want to go nowhere.
Right. So and that's a great point. So you're not necessarily looking at time. You're just looking at the daily habits.
Right.
And I think for us in our situation, it was like really just becoming the person that we wanted to be. And I think that's kind of sums up what Alycia was saying. She wrote the vision, but we had to become the people or individuals that we really wanted to be. We couldn't just think about it. We had to do the actions of the person that we were trying to be would do.
Brother, I'm telling you right now, listen, your man's going for a swim this morning. And I don't have a pool in my backyard, but I got one in the basement in this hotel. And I'm gonna post it up later. I haven't swam in years. I love it. But here's the deal. This process, what I realize about the process, sometimes you got to be willing to do some things that are a little bit different. Let me challenge some of y'all. Some of y'all are in love with this story. The story of redemption that Mike and Alycia have been able to, quite frankly, rewrite and make theirs, okay? Because it wasn't theirs. They were on a destruction path, and their end game was going to be bad. It was already bad, but it's getting ready to be worse. But here's the deal. They were willing to do something different and become, as Mike just said, the people that they wanted to be, Cherie. And I think that unfortunately, most people aren't willing to invest in themselves. Right. They're not willing to show up every single day and do something on their relationship. They're not willing to come outside of themselves. And I can't tell you how many people we've coached in an assessment situation, and they've said, "Nah, I'm good on the community thing. I'm good on the accountability piece. I just want y'all to coach us personally." And I said, "Well, we can do that. It's more expensive, and I'll be more than happy to do it. But here's what you miss out when you don't come into the community. You miss out on the accountability of a room of people who have been there, done that. And here's what you don't know. I don't know everything." Right. Right. Cherie hasn't been through everything. And there are people in this community that can see in your blind spot and have a specific word or an action or a particular direction that they could share with you that you're going to miss out because you will not go through a process that you're not familiar with. Right. And I think that unfortunately, guys, that is what kills your relationship. Excuse me. It's not the adultery. It's not the finances. It's not even the communication. It's the fact that you will not commit to doing something every day to make sure that thing turns out properly. Right. And I think people, and we always say, marriage works when you do the work. It takes work. You have to be willing to do the work. You can't just have this dream, this fantasy of what your marriage is going to be like and not do the work to get it there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Danae chimes in. She says, create those marriage success habits. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Craig from Philly. He just says, boom. No, Craig, you understand, man. You know what it looks like, brother, putting in that work every single day. Karen chimes in. She says, powerful. I hear you, Danae. Danae says, speak it out. Speak it out. I love it. I love it. And this is sweet. Karen says, y'all did this just for me this morning. Now, I'm going to stop right there because now I'm about to cry. Let me tell y'all, we don't get paid to show up and do breakfast with the Brookses, at least not yet. At least not yet. Speak it. The truth of the matter is that what causes us to show up every single day and to bring people who we know who are crushing it in this game, like the Johnsons,
Right.
and bring them to you is because we know what right looks like.
Right.
We know what the process can produce. And we just want to encourage you that if you're out there and you're sitting there and you're going through and you're hurt, if you need community, come join us. MAPS Relationship Academy, crcoach.com. We also are working on some collaborative efforts where we're going to be doing some things. We're going to, and I'm so excited. I don't want to even say what they are, but trust me when I tell you, when the Johnsons and the Brookses combine their superpowers, y'all getting ready to get hooked up. And I'm just telling you off the break. So we're going to be doing a few more lives together, probably talking about things. We'll be sharing on each other's platforms and some other stuff. And we're going to be creating. I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm about to reveal some stuff. Because your man,
he's a little excited.
The flamingo is flying high right now, y'all. I'm telling you right now. So I just want to let you know that I'm excited. Mike, Alycia, I know y'all on the road. Y'all back in our used to be home of 9 years in the ATL. I appreciate you guys jumping on with us. Any closing things you want to share? Anything that you want to tell people in terms of, being able to do this work, or any wisdom you want to share as we get ready to get up out of here for the day?
Glenn, I'd say, and we started. This is what this call is about. And we started with that quote. How well have you lived? How well have you loved? How well have you learned to let go? And I think, if you write those down, if you put that quote in front of you every day, of course, as we were going through this process, that was like the farthest thing from our minds, and we weren't necessarily thinking about that. But I think, because we've been in a situation where we can reverse engineer, I look at our process being that how well have we lived? And when I say that, look at it on a daily basis. So at the end of each day, ask yourself, how well have I lived today? How well have I loved? And how well have I let go? I think one of the big problems is when we get in trouble is where we take a situation from one day to the next day, to the next day, to the next week, to the next month, to the next year. And we just keep beating up on that situation, not letting it go, not getting into the space where we can actually love that person for who they are.
Yes.
And then eventually get into the space where you can live. Guys froze up a little bit, but I think that's
Yeah.
that's it.
No, I love it. I just put it back up on the screen. Alycia, you want to share anything?
That would be my talking point. Just with some of this host just speaks about
Yeah.
Right.
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 Understand. And always take perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Spiritual perspective.
Right. That's a great visual too.
That's a great
people
visual.
Make it real practical for people to be able to realize what's going on.
I love that analogy, Alycia.
Right.
Alycia, I love that analogy. Guys, we could talk for another hour And I'm just not going to say anything more because I promise you I'm getting ready to go and take this to the next level. Y'all, I love you. I love you guys. I am so for y'all in terms of y'all's journey. Y'all already know our commitment to you guys, both personally, professionally. Anything you need, you got it. But guys, listen to me very carefully. For those of you all who are listening, I've often said this, and that is, if you're going to get to any place of significance, if you're going to get to any place that matters, you are going to need help. Here's what I'm going to promise you. If your vision can be accomplished by yourself, the vision is too small. Marriage, relationships. We started a company called Constant Relationship Coaching because relationships are constant. Like, I don't care what you do, they are going to always be there. And so you have to be willing to commit to the process and do what needs to be done. I know that we're freezing and that sort of stuff, and we probably have outstayed our internet connection welcome. But guys, at the end of the day, I promise you, hashtag, listen, we all need some help.
You guys have a great Saturday, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Let's talk soon. Love y'all.
You guys. Bye-bye.